Good afternoon, beautiful people. Today we are going to be watching those closing streams. We will be trying to come live more in the last hour of the day this week. I think it's a fun week where we could see some good moves, and we're looking for a potential top here. Now, I did just want to mention, Mara, if the 2-hour does rotate down here, it wouldn't be a good sign. If the 30-minute can curl back up at any time, that may be some positivity. Let's just check in with the actual market. And we notice that that 30-minute is trying to head to the downside. We can look for a quick 5-minute divergence in here if we're going to see this turn back up into positive territory. I think that's still possible for sure. I do think that's possible for this to end up back outside of the monthly expected move. Maybe we just need to do some work on this 30-minute before that can happen. Now, we do want to pay attention. If this 2-hour does rotate down, that means things can get a little bit uglier. We can end up back in this zone. We'll see if we make basing out signals. But for the most part for today, I think something you can watch is just a 5-minute, right? I think a 5-minute's pretty entertaining here, maybe a 15-minute. We just more so want to see, are we creating any kind of structure down here? And really what you've done is you've formed that base and you're trying to hold this level. So you're hoping that's not given up. If so, a test of the 5 would be likely. We can look for signals in here from the 5-minute. And same thing, kind of shape it up for the Qs. And Qs already tried to, on the 5-minute, confirm a higher low, right? But if they curl back down, then there's more work to be done. Maybe we need to test that 5. Volatility, something I am looking for from this 30-minute is actually a divergence here. And I think this is where we can start to get a little more bullish, as if this actually turns down. And we see that actually turn down, and then we see a little something like this. Okay, that's going to be important. If that happens overnight, that'll be unfortunate. Maybe we'll just pay attention to the 4-hour and the 2-hour and see if those can whip back up. So there's a lot of good things happening out there. I mean, we do have AMC and GME holding at higher levels. We do see some potential from GME to see a pullback here. We really do. It's great that it's holding up at higher levels. By no means am I going to, sell out of my overall holding position. But this is a signal that would convince me on the options side of things. Hey, if this would cross down, that would not necessarily be good. So that's what I'm paying attention to for GME. As far as it goes for Tesla, we can see that that is confirming a bad signal down. Okay, that is a 2-hour giving you that flatness across on the top, but major divergence down here. So this can be a big problem. If the 30-minute continues to go negative, that will be a bad thing. The 30-minute gave us divergence across there and across here. So this can be weak. It's not the most weak yet, but you're just now getting to that 5-day. So you're hoping off that 5-day you can get a reaction to the upside. If you can't, then you might end up seeing something get a little bit more dramatic. Sorry, get my voice back here. Quick note here. Well, while we're looking at things, Netflix actually seeing a downward move. This is one that does show that flat divergence, not on the MACD at the same time. So I am expecting it to maybe test a key level. I believe the key level of 838 is what I'm paying attention to, seeing if that can drop into there. But looking for basing out signals. Do we have any 30-minute signal that says, hey, we have to reverse this trend around, or does it more likely say, okay, we're losing the 5, we might head lower? Well, at this moment, you would say the 30-minute is getting pretty deep. If it wants to go deeper, that's good. We bounce up. We see the reversal signal for something as bullish as Netflix. If you see even a simple swing, right, that can lead to an upside move. What was another one we were looking at? I know Wolf, we were paying attention to this. It is holding really, really well right at the weekly expected move. So that's great. You are curling down on the 30 minutes, so this can take some time. This can really take its time, or we could be building a little bit of structure down here for Wolf. So I'll pay attention to it. I've sold a lot of the contracts at this point because I'm going to take a 1,200% gain for the most part. That's pretty good. I'll take it. Even though it was a small amount of money, it's fine. That's great. It turned into a regular win on a regular trade, so we like it. Now, NVIDIA is one we need to be paying attention to. That one is down pretty low. We see it down pretty low. And here's the thing. This 30-minute is starting to go like, hey, I'm really dying out here. Can I get a bounce? Can I get a bounce? Well, This led to some upside. And if we start to pull up a 5-minute, you're going to see in the past how we had a bunch of 5-minute divergence that led to a pop. Then that dropped all of a sudden. We still held most of the points of divergence. So we'll pay attention to this. This does have the likings of some consolidation where a bigger move is coming. We're very close to 135. A test of 135 is very likely. But if this 5-minute, even right now, you can really see how these bases, if they're going to experience positivity, well, what have we really created? We've created a bunch of divergence here. Now that is rolling over at this moment, so you've got to be paying attention to 135. This could completely go away, but this would be a hint that we're going to get a 30-minute bounce. And it's more, with these type of things, it's more of a reason to be like, this was a good setup. This was good. We're by a weekly expected move. I'm seeing a bunch of little divergences on the 5-minute, so the 30-minute can bounce. Would that be good or bad for my short on NVIDIA? That would be bad if this went like that, right? We can always revert back and test that 5-day. So if we did something like this, your option might lose a bunch of value. So I use little things like that to convince me to take profit when I am up on a trade. It is just something very good is taking profit. Obviously, you don't want to do it too early all the time, but if you're starting to see weekly ranges, starting to see those type of things, a little bit rough. Just join, what's the T? Jari, really the T is, are we going to confirm this 2-hour down? I think that's the main thing. It's like, if this is some kind of big trap, which we kind of thought it would be, right? We were saying the trap zones, right? I think the trap zone more so for the downside was here. The trap zone for the upside is here. And actually, I said that wrong. The trap side for the upward move is here. The downside is actually in this liquidity, right? In this buy zone, in this liquidity. So if we see a flash move like this, then we just see some basing out, right? We might have a double bottom. So that might be a fake out. But right now, I think that the overall thing here is we're still positive in positive territory. We do not have a great reversal signal. Now, this can just start reversing down. NVIDIA has bad signals, but this could also just continue to fool around, turn back up into positive territory, right? And then we actually see a move outside of the weekly, outside of the monthly, and then we see some bad things happening. For the time being, if we're going to see a correction, whether that, by the way, whether that correction starts here, is still to be determined. We have not seen the confirmation of things to correct. I do believe we would remain in this channel, if not violate it for the short term. So we could see a move like this. We're not able to get to the top of our channel, see a move like this, and then we end up coming back down to here. And I think this is where your mild correction would be. So it's hard for me to really call it out because we do have major reversal signals that would turn down. So if you're not able to hold up in this area with, I think it would only be like a, 5% drop, right? 5% drop. If you're not able to do that, it's kind of a problem. Because when we really blow this up and we look at the weekly ranges, or the weekly MACD here, you're going, okay, you're showing extreme weakness right now. So if we experience extreme weakness right now, this signal is really saying we don't have much time left. If you're able to do this for just a few weeks, and then you get that 5% correction, and then you base out and turn up, well, this might cross, get down to here, and then you can have some room to go for maybe some kind of, say, Santa rally, right? And then we go into maybe January, and then that's where I'd really be paying attention. But this still could be something bad. So the way you really want to see it is if this crosses, I'm sorry, Pablo, for my voice. It's kind of dry because coughing and stuff. A little cold. If this crosses, is it a good sign or a bad sign? It's a bad one. It's a really bad one. It's a really bad one. But I think we have one more trap left in us. We're not in extreme greed right here. So if we're going to correct more, we have zones to pay attention to. If we're going to see some kind of downtrend like this, we get down to here, we end up going up over time, who knows? But what I would more so lean towards is a corrective 5% move down like this, then we go back up, then we start to reach January and things actually start to look a little less pretty. Right? I think that we could see a rapid move to really get people bullish after a solid pullback. I'm not seeing us in extreme greed, and normally you're in extreme greed when you're going to get some kind of big rug pull, unless we run into a black swan. So the overall take with this is like, I'm expecting a mild correction. Yes, like the minimum of like 5%. But if this crosses, I'm still going to treat it like it's really bad. And then if it comes down to these areas that I'm talking about, right, if all this plays out, and let's say we do make a move higher first or something like that, right, we do this. This is what I'm more looking for, right? There's your little 4.5%, 5% correction. Yes, it is live short Fridays. We are live at the end of the day. I'm going to try to go live a lot this week because I have Thursday to help me out. Jari, kind of. Let's just say I had a great Monday with the trade. But as far as the weekend went, I was sick most of the weekend. I'm sorry if my videos were not, I hope that my videos were helpful. It was very difficult for me to speak because I talk a lot in my videos. It was very difficult to talk, and like it was really ruining my train of thought when I would misspeak. So I appreciate you guys watching, liking, doing all that stuff. I do appreciate it. I was sick and I wanted to get my point out there. Hopefully you guys understood the point of the weekend was we're in a zone where things aren't matching up correctly. We're in an area now where things aren't matching up correctly. And when we did see the last time that did not match up correctly, we experienced something like this. Okay? So if we're going to see a similar thing happen, we're in that right now. So we were talking about how this was really when you were in the lie, and then it came to fruition. The truth came out. So now you're in another one of those zones where you're kind of in a funky situation here. Can it continue? Well, yes, it can. But so hopefully that got across this weekend. Other than that, I mean, it was solid. Like, I can't complain. The new set of TFT came out. So even though I was sick, my wife wasn't feeling the best either. So we just like put baby girl to bed and then played some TFT all night. It was great. I'll probably continue doing that. Now, NVIDIA, real quick here, remember this 5-minute? We were just talking about it. Remember if that turns back up. This is what I'm paying attention to right now for a 30-minute bigger bounce. I think you could see a good corrective move here from this downturn, some kind of bounce. Where would we most likely test? Well, we got to pay attention to this. This is a very obvious level. You break it, you flush, you hold it, you see an upside move. So if we can take that back, that would be good. But we need to get above the 5 to see bullishness. The 30-minute looks like it does want to cross, and we have some 5-minute signals for that. AMC, very important to note for AMC, the 30-minute has curled down now. Now, this happens with these, right, pretty often, where you can curl down at one moment and then you see a gap up to here, and then it just goes and it never curls back down. But if the 30-minute is curled down, it's no longer the best thing. And the reason that I'll hate on this just a little bit is because GME needs to see positivity for AMC to see it. AMC needs to see positivity for GME to see it. So if GME is up here and this 30-minute move fails right now, that's going to be a problem because you have 2 hour that if you dip down, you're probably going to get a big pullback to like $23. If it holds up better, that's awesome. Wait for the signals to be good again. But you do have the opportunity here for a daily pullback. Now, does this mean that, the market's going to tank and GME is going to pop off? That can happen. But if this is going to follow the market, even GME is saying, hey, I'm getting kind of tapped out. I might need a pullback, just like the market is. What are the odds that Adam Aaron is diluting today? Probably relatively low. Unless he has someone that's willing to pay higher per share because of the good numbers they put out. UVXY call options at the 21 strike. Hey, I get you. Volatility, it looks decent. One thing I would just notice here, the daily, curled up, curled right back down. First of all, we showed that. The second thing is the 30-minute here. And this is where it's a little bit better, and I like to be just very patient. And if the setup happens, the setup happens. If it doesn't, then I won't do anything. So we're talking about that 30-minute move higher to make a divergence outside of a weekly expected move, outside of a monthly expected move. January expiration. Okay, so you got time there. So what I'm thinking here is if this 30-minute can do this, that's when I'll pay attention. If we see one more ballistic upward push and then we see that divergence there and we see that on the SPY kind of at the same time, more so going to be paying attention to the 2-hour divergence. But if we can really see this even dip down lower by the end of the day, that would be okay. But if we can see this and then we see that trap set, or we maybe get a ballistic move and then that fades dramatically, and we actually see the same signal at the same time, right? This is a divergence on your MACD, right? Very obvious, but it's not there on the RSI. So we might need to make just a little push, right? A little push like this to get that divergence. And that's what I'm looking for. So I don't mind taking volatility in these areas, but I do mind taking something a little bit early when we could experience something absolutely. You could experience a blow off top from this. You actually can. You've already blown off this top like twice. The third time might be pretty big. So I'd just be watching. I'd really like volatility to be able to fully really cross on a 2-hour to see that big move come in for volatility, and then see kind of an ABC to the upside, right? Something like 1, 2, 3, or even more. Maybe it's like this. And then we see that 2-hour divergence. We go, all right, there's the Christmas rally, right? December 11th, December 12th, whatever. Like, that's what I want to see. I'm not seeing that in too many areas. The only hint I really got from a stock today, in my opinion, is Tesla. If this can buy back up, it's a bad signal. And the other one is actually NVIDIA suggesting that we could bounce here. Now, I don't trust 5 minutes. I don't trade based on 5 minutes, but if I think a bounce can come and then we can go outside of a monthly expected move, NVIDIA is probably going to have to participate. Okay, NVIDIA is probably going to have to participate. Now, is this stock suffering for whatever reason it wants to? Is it getting liquidated to fight all these other little stocks that keep popping up? Maybe. Mara, it looks like they feel like they have succeeded in suppressing that stock just based on my research. I have to talk about that more in a month or so. I have to see how these things behave for 30 days before doing that. But we do notice that we're confirming that 5 minute really, really close to the center line. So if you're going to turn up a 30, it's saying like, hey, now should be the time. If you're not going to, then you might make a 15-minute first, right? We might see a little move like this, get outside of a weekly, and then see that upside boom, right? So I'm going to pay very close attention to NVIDIA right now. And if the 15-minute curls over, well, if it goes and tests 135, it's been a great level for us before, right? Trading view is 70% off and the order flow might be worth it. I actually have never looked into order flow on TradingView. Let me go check real quick. Yeah, TradingView needs to fucking sponsor me. I love this platform, but I'll try to look it up. See what it looks like. And now this is where I'm like, okay, so now we see that 5 minute, if that can really go positive, see that series of higher highs, higher lows, we can start to at least get a test of this 5. And you'll know we're away from it. I know it's a 5 minute chart, but if you pull out to a 2-hour, you're still going to see how far away you really are. Like that 5 minutes pretty zoomed in, but for a 2-hour, this is pretty big, right? So we might want to see a retest of that and then see what happens. Palantir is a little bit worrisome, by the way. If that 2-hour crosses, I'm not a happy boy for Palantir. The 30-minute, though, does not show too much weakness. You've gotten rid of, see all the bad divergences? That just led to a downward and then sideways pulling back, 2-hour curled up. So the 2-hour curled up, like we were talking about, we're reverting back down to that 5, closing a gap to. Can we turn up into positive territory and see something like this? Because that could be relatively close to a weekly expected move, and we'll pay attention to it as Palantir has seen something absolutely crazy, right? Palantir could end the week down here, and it would make sense. Yeah, Palantir could end down at like $50 and it would make total sense, which is kind of scary. Gold has made a massive move outside of a weekly expected move. I'm just going to tell you guys that right now. Yeah. Whatever I can really tell you guys to be helpful, that's the overall goal for this channel. That's why I'm following it. All right, here we go. So NVIDIA most likely will need to see positivity for the market to really hit those levels, in my opinion now. I don't think Apple has too much room higher. We'll watch out for a little divergence towards 233. Meta trying to curl up into positive. Microsoft didn't curl down. That's important. You're still holding all this. It's pretty good. 2 hour did confirm. And there goes Palantir. So just watch if Palantir curls over on a 2 hour. That's just not a good sign. And NVIDIA's starting to give up that little 5-minute move, so it's not able to confirm a little 5-minute move here. It's still suggesting it wants to bounce. It's just not getting any live. Maybe we got to reach down. Maybe we're going to correct right now. That'd be cool with me. Correct for a few days. We'll know if we're going to correct because this 2 hour most likely turns down. You come down into this area. Like I just highly doubt that 2 hour crosses and we do this. That seems doubtful. It can happen. I think it's more likely we're doing some kind of small consolidation to actually head higher before we exceed. I just think they need more of a trap. There's too many puts. If you go look at the puts right now, if the SPY closed below 594, holy crap, the market makers would lose so much money. It's insane. Wall Street would be losing money probably at that point. Like, what are you guys chatting about? Where's the take profit for something like NVIDIA? Well, 135 is my good level. We've had this level up a lot. And if you just look back in the past, you can see when we pressure above it, we gapped above it. Okay, when we lost it, we flushed more. When we gained it back, we saw this gap up. That's great. Where did we gravitate towards? Hey, here, we gapped right below it a little bit there, and then we go up. So we even tried to use it as support right there. So I really like 135 right now. PCC does remain low, but the overall market itself, like for expiration this week, I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you for the Qs right now. And this could mean like, hey, it could head down, right? It still can. But actually, where was the SPY? Because the SPY is what we were talking about. Let me look up the SPY real quick. And this is, you know, lagging data at this point. But you can see today, your first put wall was at 595. Where did we gravitate to? Right around 595, right? 595, what is that, 22? 595.20. So that's a big deal. Now, where was the call wall? Well, the call wall was at 600. Look at 600. So we're stuck in between those two walls right now. And so the way to make people lose the most amount of money is to pretty much sit right in between 595 and 600. That's like the area where most people will lose money, and you're doing that today. So interesting stuff. If we pull this into the end of the week, though, you're going to see a big call wall here at 600. So once again, pay attention to 600. But we noticed the put wall is at 590 for the week. So we could end up seeing a dip down, you know, a little further and then carve this out. But the overall thing I want to get at is there's a lot of puts there. That's a put to call ratio of 3.3 almost. So I wouldn't be surprised if the market went up. And then what do we see in the background while I'm talking? Well, NVIDIA starts to catch some ground on the 30-minute. So we'll see. There's that 5-minute flashing back to positive after flashing negative for a moment. And then we'll see if that's able to turn up a 30-minute because that's very, very close. So that's how I'm reading into it. I think this move I'm more worried, especially if we do it fast. I really don't want to go like this at the end of the day. I don't want that. That wouldn't be fun. Holy crap. Maybe. Maybe they do. Let's check on Apple first, because that's one we follow, and then I'll go check on Burlington. Well, Apple, something interesting for Apple is we've reached up to the higher point. You're still holding divergence across all of this, so you're seeing some good weakness when we hit those points. But we overall we're really liking if this actually retested 233. And guess what? We went and tested 233, and it wasn't the best sign. Okay? It really wasn't that good for the stock, we would say. But we could look at Apple and just see, you know, does this have potential to make another move higher? Well, you always want to think it can, right? You always want to think it can, and can it see a moment maybe like this one here? Can it see a moment like this one here? Well, you'll notice from those moments, what did you create at the top? Divergence, right? Very obvious divergence. From this level right here that got excited above 233, what did we really create at the top? Well, you would say overall a lower high, right? But if we take the top of the MACD, we would say that is actually happening right here, and that would be a higher point. So the closing of these bars is there. And so you could say there's at least a MACD divergence. That could be bad. And so maybe we do that again, right? Maybe we do that again like this. We just get above 233, go to 234.50, and then we see something bad happen. I think 235 is really a good level, though, for Apple to test, if it's going to get past 233, that is. So that's it for mainly for Apple. For Burlington, this one apparently just getting upgraded. Well, for the time being, you're seeing a 30-minute. Now, we don't really want to go over too many technicals with this. These are some big gaps, first of all. You can flush through those really fast. You can see a big upward move really fast because of that E right there. So earnings will be a 50-50 flip, right? We'll see what happens with it. That's the best we can say with something like earnings. Still watching NVIDIA to see if that thing can get a pop, seeing if the SPY can turn up into positive territory. Now, let's not expect this to be fast, okay? Let's more so expect this to be drawn out. A lot of the time, the market draws these things out. And maybe this is going to be the big 30-minute move that then needs to curl down and then curl back up. And then we see this, right? We're going to pay attention if this happens, but I'd really like to see if we can do something like that. Hopefully it's before November ends. Wake me up. Wait, that's September. When September ends. Wolf is holding very nicely. SMCI trying to make its next move. Mara reverting back down to that 30-minute 20. Interesting stuff. We got some good moves happening out there. I just want to peek over at volatility again. This is what's worrisome, is we're heading into the end of the day. Volatility could make this signal, and volatility could come in overnight. That's not a good thing. I understand the maybe scaling the volatility. I get you. I get you, short Fridays. Now, is this great basing out signals from NVIDIA? No. It's not. It's a really deep 30-minute. Most likely we're going to bump our head on something and end up turning down. We'll see. But it also could gap above all that, right? It could. We'll find out eventually. So for NVIDIA, something we could watch is like going into a 5-minute and just seeing, hey, yeah, is that going positive? Awesome. Is that then curling up a 30-minute? Awesome. We can just sit and stare at it, be like, go positive. If you want an upside move, that is. But maybe they know something we don't, short Fridays. Maybe they know something we don't. Gotta break this little downward trend. Good tapering. Smaller, smaller, smaller. Big move. Let's get a big move, huh? Which direction will it go? Up or down? What do you think? I don't know what this one is. Are you talking about this? B. Riley Financial. I mean, great upward move. Using the divergence to head higher. There you go. What do you know? Whenever I see a stock that we don't look at very much, I just look at it for 2 seconds and divergence. Awesome. Even got a 30-minute one here probably. Yeah, 30-minute one there. So good scale in for the 30-minute right there. Boom to the upside. 2 hour followed. Boom to the upside. Great move. Curls up a daily chart. Daily chart here, curling up. This could just be the start. Right, earnings, we'll see what happens with that, but that could just be the beginning. All the signals here are you know, saying left head, right shoulder, saying we're going to break through. That's what the momentum signals are saying here, if this can go positive, that is. But we have earnings, so it's unfortunate. If we didn't have earnings, I'd be more excited about it. So sorry for not being the most excited, but it does look good. The only thing that looks bad is the fact that you have earnings. Can I check my crystal ball? I don't know if it necessarily would pop up overnight, like completely. We'll see if that happens. You are getting some inclination that it does want to go higher, right? But there are a lot of calls coming in, right? High PC or low PCC today. The only thing you don't have is a high dollar. So you have NVIDIA trying to base out for a 30-minute move that can cause positivity for the SPY. And we just want to watch out if this turns down really quick. Like pretty much if you see an upward move in the morning and that thing fades, that's going to be a problem. If you see this again in the morning, that's going to be a big problem. I will be on later tonight to give you guys those daily expected moves for tomorrow. If you don't have the weekly expected moves, get them on your chart. They will really help you out. You can start looking at them for the SPY and the Qs completely free. And then you can pop over and be like, hey, if I'm trading any of the stock that Luke likes to look at, well then you can get the Patreon and look at those. Get the weekly expected moves, the monthly expected moves. We get new monthlies this week. Well, AMBA earning, like anything with earnings, guys, it's going to be a 50-50 flip. You can't really say like, oh yeah, this is going to be super bullish. This is good, because you don't know. You don't know what they're going to say. They could say, hey, we have great numbers, but those great numbers are going to come down over the next, 6 months because of the, I don't know, because of the weather, depending on whatever company it is. So what I would like is, what I do like is the fact that from this, you see a 30-minute here. We see if there's any divergence, kind of flat on the RSI, not really there for the MACD. We're able to carve this out. And then we just see a simple 2-hour swing to the upside, 2-hour swung up. It never crossed back below that 9. That is great. And so you're just saying thank you for the money. And now you could say, hey, great upward move. I was in the right move, right? Swing to the upside, goes positive off the 200 on the 2-hour. That's great. It's everything you're looking for a swing trade, right? And then you're going, hey, yeah, am I going to risk all of these gains tomorrow, like in one day? Probably not. I'm probably going to be like, yeah, I might have 10 contracts. I might keep 2. I'm going to sell 8. You know what I mean? I'm going to take profit, especially if I was in the swing from the bottom. I took like a, $60 call or something like that. I swing from the bottom and we go up like this. I'm going to have plenty of money. It's just a good thing to do. It's not really saying like you could make more money. It's just, are you gambling or are you making a good decision? You know what I'm saying? That we always talk about this with earnings, the get out of jail free card, right? I'm just trying, and this is the big thing about this channel, guys. Everything we do on this channel, from the videos to the weekly ranges on Patreon to the course, it's just to be helpful and for you to learn from my mistakes, right? Before I had weekly ranges, okay, I would take profit thinking something crazy. I wouldn't take profit. Sorry, I wouldn't take profit because I think something awesome is going to happen. Oh, a daily curl down. But I would see a 30-minute divergence or something like that, but I'd be like, oh yeah, but the daily curl down, okay, this is going to be cooked. And then the next day, we bounce rigorously and that thing jumps up, right? And then I would get hurt by that. Then I learned and I taught myself weekly ranges, taught myself how to calculate them. And that's all we're trying to do throughout this whole thing, is allow you to learn from me and hear about my losses. One of the things I talk about around earnings is Zillow. Zillow is one thing I talk about a lot because it was when I was younger, and that is one of my worst setups in the last, I think it was in the last 6 years. It's probably my worst trade. I lost like 90% of that options value because I thought I knew everything, and I thought earnings, I didn't really think that affected it. I've heard people say it before, and I just said, I'm going to do it anyway. And I've played earnings before and it worked out, so I convinced myself, yeah, it's going to work out this time because I know that this is divergence and all that. It's like, okay, awesome. Then it went the wrong way, right? So learn from someone else, learn from someone else's mistakes so you don't have to make them as much, right? That's the whole point of the course, is to teach you everything that I use to minimize those big mistakes and to maximize your good setups, right? Being patient is a big thing. So that's the key thing there. That's the key thing there, is just learn from someone else's mistakes. You don't have, you're gonna probably end up experiencing them on your own, but if you just know these little things, you can stay away from a lot of the mess. You can wait till things are clear. It's good. I mean, that's genuine right there. It's just like, me, I did not have someone who taught me all of the things that are in my course. I had to take multiple different courses worth thousands of dollars to do it, right? And then what I did when I made my channel and I thought about making a course because people thought my videos were helpful, I said, well, maybe people would like to see exactly how I do things. And that's what I put in there. Not one piece of that is not what I look at. Right? Not one piece of the course is something that I don't do, which I think a lot of people put in there. Am I going to spend 30 minutes describing Bollinger Bands to you guys? No, it's not the most important thing for trading. You know what I mean? No, I want to put you in a position where you can really be accountable for your trading and take control of your trading. That's the goal. Goal is to be helpful and see how that's why this is so important, right? That's why this is so important. This. Because if you don't see this, if you're not able to clearly understand this, you're going to get beat up. You're going to get beat up. Me, I said this was it. This is it. Something bad's going to happen. This is it. The next day, we're starting to form some basing out signals. Maybe we hit the sell zone and then it's bad. Maybe we get a trap. We gapped above the entire sell zone, but the point was I sold anything that was saying the market was going to go down. I sold right here. And that's important to understand. Was I ever taking puts here? No. I was never taking puts there. Because I have weekly ranges and daily ranges that we were testing, and we were making these little signals in here, and then we 2 hour crosses up, and then we see the same thing happen as over here. And if you're someone who struggles to see that stuff, that's the point of this channel. It's to help you out, right? The point of this channel is to teach you how to make money in any market, any strategy, right? You can use the information for any strategy you want. These things will help you. If you are bad at the short time frames and you are accountable for that, and you're saying, I'm getting eaten alive by the short time frames, I cannot understand this, spread it out, right? Spread it out. There will be trade setups based on weekly charts. There will be trade setups based on daily charts. There will be trade setups based on monthly charts as far as investing goes. So that's the main thing I just wanted to get across, especially early on this week, is just like, learn from my mistakes. And then if I'm telling you I use this stuff, right, and I was able to catch something big with Wolf because of some other research I did, but all the things in the course were in Wolf, by the way. There's nothing in here that was different. 30-minute, 2 hour rejection, daily divergence. There is nothing in this that is not in the course. The only thing not in it is the research I'm doing right now on the short sale volume and how to read into it, right? This is why this was such a good move, right? All of that momentum told us this was going to happen. And there's a lot of people that say, oh, this is super random. Well, it is, right? We saw the signals. I needed another tick to take a trade here. And so I gave myself that tick by researching into the short sale volume. And then I said, okay, I'm going to put just a little bit of money behind it, just so I pay attention to it, right? I want some skin in the game to make me think of it as if I have money in it. Did I put a bunch? No, but it made 1,200. It was up to 1,500% at one point. 1,500%. Now what are we doing? Well, on the 30-minute, once again, what are you running into? And I'm just going to tell you right now, the weekly expected move is right there. Where are you starting to stall out? The weekly expected move. Where do you need to break through to see something crazy? The weekly expected move. So the fact that this is curled down here is not a good sign. The fact that it's holding up at it is a good sign, right? We can use everything all the time. And I know I make a little bit of money off the course. I know I do. But I could be making a lot more. I had my dad's friend who used to work in New York for some big hedge fund. He literally looked at all my stuff and I talked to him in person. He shook my hand and he goes, the things that you're telling people will actually really help them. He goes, I don't see why you're charging that price. He goes, you should be charging $2,000 for your course. And I said, I kind of value it at $1,000, but I just want people who were in my shoes 10 years ago and trying to be Warren Buffett to realize that technicals can actually help you. Even if it's just going to work and then coming back and being like, okay, how do I invest my money? Is this a good time? I like this company. I like Target. Is Target a good time, right? Target just suffered, right? Is Target a good time to invest? Well, we just pull this up and be like, oh, not yet. Not yet. But if it did this, wouldn't it be? Wouldn't this be a great setup? Look at this. If I just know that and I can see it immediately without even thinking, I can now take a note, write down that I'm looking for Target to make one more push lower, see if that's able to go down towards the 200 on the monthly chart, and then see if it catches ground around these areas. And then I can look for daily divergence. I can look for weekly divergence. I can look for 2-hour divergence and then make an investment. And then that could be a good trade for quite some time. That is a very likely thing to turn into a positive trend for a long time. And everyone hates on it, right? And here's what I'm talking about. I'll even show you, right? We're just going to give tons of value today at the end of this video because, you know, we'll look at the SPY in a moment here. But I just want to show you this. Like, look at this double top. Well, if I go out and do a weekly, am I going to see a signal for this? Let's see. Would you look at this? All right, let's look at this. So what do we notice at the very top? Ooh, we rejected the crossing. We made a double top rejection divergence at the top. That's when you go on the monthly. Now it's not a good time to invest in Target. Right? These are all just, I'm just pointing out things that can be very, very helpful for any style, investment, whatever. You can still use all the information here for the investment style. It's great. What are you seeing right now from the weekly? Does this look a little bit like Target or even worse? Well, you could argue that it could be worse. So should I be investing for the next 22 years? Probably not. So good stuff. I just wanted to go on a little tangent there because I really want people to start to take into consideration that I have, you know, just like every trader out there, I have taken the losses too. And so if you're new, you have something that a lot of people don't, which is hopefully you have youth, right? You have that eagerness to learn and you can sit and you can learn and you can try to save money and then come in and not make those mistakes as much as I did at the beginning because you have someone here, you have a community here to talk to. And I think it's fantastic. He loves meme stocks, yeah. I like the memes. I think they're fun. I like the meme stocks. 2-hour cross or not yet for GME. We'll look at those in a second. I want to pay attention to the market in the end of this. We'll go over GME and AMC in the video tonight for that brief little summary. Mainly just want to look at the market here, and I want to pay attention to NVIDIA. That thing is starting to drop down again, suggesting that that 5-minute most likely, look at this, is turning back down, not playing out, breaking the lows. So we might need to make a little 15-minute divergence down here, right? We'll see what happens in the last minutes of the day, but this is not a good sign. Not a good sign because this weekly is crossing now. So if they want to get rid of that and have NVIDIA still end up going up, they're going to have to buy this thing up. That is a weekly expected move. This can get very ugly. You're heading directly towards your weekly expected move. You're trying to, the only thing I see is a 15-minute possible divergence. I don't like 15-minute divergences personally. Personally, I don't like them. I don't like 5 minute. I like my 30-minute ones. But if a 15 minutes what I got for a reaction, I could say, okay, I need to pay attention for a reaction. Meanwhile, SPY actually heading in the upward direction. We got, you know, these things starting to look like, ooh, are they going to teeter down? We've got GameStop trying to curl back up. That's great. AMC trying to curl back up. That's great. These are fantastic things. But Mara's one that I'm paying attention to as well, like looking if that thing can curl back up because the 30-minute, right? Not looking too good. We'll see. And what it means is Mara's the one that's peaked on the short sale volume, unless we see a new peak today. But for the most part with this, you can still see a couple days of positivity before that fails. So VIX not able to turn down on the 30-minute just yet. So maybe we're going to get a 15-minute push here. Maybe we're actually going to see some more downside. We'll find out. All right, we'll go over it in tonight's video pretty thoroughly. Well, I would have liked to see a 5-minute, just quick little 5-minute push down, actually. I would have liked to see this, because then we test that 5. Then we get that 30 minutes to curl up again. That's what I would have liked to see. You think MSTR will curl up by end of day tomorrow, given 15 minutes just curled up? It just depends. It depends with this one. And it depends a lot on the 30-minute. Can that curl up? And you're seeing divergences form here. This is a good sign that you're probably going to see a 2-hour push, right? But you need that to confirm. And so, like, am I seeing anything in this little move here? Well, I'm seeing a bunch of little divergence points. They don't look the best. But what I would just more so be paying attention to is, hey, we're holding this level really well. We're coming back down into there. And now my MACD is showing this up. And now my RSI is showing this up. And then if you know how to manage risk, well, this is going to be a risky one, right? This is going to be a risky one because this could easily 2-hour cross down, right? This could easily keep pulling back for a bit of time. But it is showing how we're hitting those lows. We're trying to consolidate in some way. If you're able to curl up the 30-minute, you're actually pretty happy with this one. You only got 5 minutes left, though, so you might not get that hint till tomorrow. Same thing goes for like these, right? They're still remaining at higher levels. They just need to maybe pull back in some way. We're seeing NVIDIA. See, that's still dropping, still dropping. Hope you guys are enjoying the end of day stream, the close. I would say this, I just have up next to me I just pulled this up to look at the values of NVIDIA options because I think people were relatively negative on it. I'm going to double check that. If we have a put wall or something. Actually, a lot of people bullish on NVIDIA. And you really don't have a put wall for a while, so this could just get ugly, right? The weekly's crossing with this. So if this doesn't stop and gets past 135 and continues for the entire week, this can get bad. I think it's more likely to bounce, but I think that would fake people out more. Sorry about my cough. Oh my goodness. But all those 5 minutes didn't even play out. It looked like it was so close. Hopefully these memers start to just turn up again, right? Now the big signal for something like Mara that's seen a great move, the big signal for this I would just write down is the 2-hour. If that crosses, I would definitely think momentum is shifting. See if this crosses tomorrow. I feel like I'm like out of breath all the time. GME is starting to surge, that's awesome. AMC is starting to surge, that's awesome. 2-hour turned up, 30 minutes still turned down. We'll see if that can change. GME 30 minutes still turned up, so everything looks good here for GME. AMC, just the 30 minute is the problem. And then we'll know more each day, right? Once you get more price action, you know. And this is what I think is interesting, okay? Let me pull up, let's do AMC on the 30 minute. So if you look at the first bar of the day, When we come over to the first bar of the day for AMC, we reached pretty much the high. We ended up going a little bit higher, but that ended up pulling back. And so something interesting is the fact that AMC did this, right? AMC did this and some other stocks, but AMC did this and pulled back. So if the SPY sees this upward move and then goes like that, that might be a problem, and maybe AMC and GME set up the same thing and they pull down with the market. So this is why I'm kind of aware of them throwing out some kind of bad news with reversal signals. So it looks like if we're going to turn up here, that bad news could come tomorrow, or we'll start a new sequence and we'll most likely maybe even see this leak into, what is it, Wednesday? Yeah, and Bitcoin gave the reversal signals, and we posted this to Patreon. Bitcoin gave the reversal signals. When I do see, I don't look at Bitcoin all the time, but when I see a bad signal, and if I'm looking at it, I usually try to post it to Patreon. I think I've only posted out Bitcoin like 3, maybe 4 times. But this is one of those times I wanted to be aware of it, because I told my buddy, I go, they're going to do a trap either at 100K or just above 100K. We still have the opportunity to do this and then see people get really euphoric. And that would just lead us into Wednesday. And then we'll see if that shows us anything, right? It is possible. We're seeing this start to curl down. We're seeing the daily get really, really close. So the 4-hour signal you saw is a good inclination that the daily's about to experience a pullback. Where could that pull back to? Well, you want to pay attention to levels like this, right around that 20 at 88.4K, right in here. And then the level I'm really paying attention to is 73.4, right in here. If we're going to see that more dramatic. But am I bearish on Bitcoin? I guess you could say short term. I don't think this is a good look. I think a good look would just be, give me the swing trade. Anywhere you want to do this, anywhere you want to do this, curl back up. If you want to do this, curl back up. Thank you for the extra money. You know what I mean? That looks like the most likely thing, but in the near term, if the 4-hour rotates up, you can see positivity, right? We're still near that center line, so where is the SPY 30-minute? Trying to make that move upward in the last minute here. Okay, let me peek over at NVIDIA. Yeah, still ending at the low of the day. That's not a good sign. You did get the weekly to curl over. We still have 4 days, well, technically 3 for this week left in that. You guys, I'm going to hop off right away just because I have to go hang out with the girls for a little bit before I make tonight's YouTube video, and I'll update you on those expected moves for tomorrow. Quick note just at the end, I know we talked about it a bit, but that course is 90% off. So not only is it very, very useful, but it's also at a big discount. Even if I was someone who was slightly new and I just go, okay, well, do I want to pay $1,000 for it when I'm ready to learn, or do I want to pay $100 for it now and then be like, okay, in 3 months I can learn from it? So, but hey, to each their own. I know Christmas is around the corner. I don't want to take anything away from people. So thank you guys so much for watching today. I really do appreciate it. It was awesome to be back on these closing streams. We're going to try to do more of these throughout this week and moving forward. So thank you guys. Have a great night, and I will see you on YouTube in a little bit. Peace out.